I'm already a millionaire in my mind. I don't see it yet, but I believe it now. In the same way a seed is called by its finished form, I'm accepting my divine inheritance as a child of God. I'm meant to have life and have it more abundantly. My treasure on earth shall correspond directly to the treasure in the heaven of my mind. Abundance is my birthright. Ashe, amen, and so it is. My name is Julian Gordon, and I'm author of Rich and Righteous: Spiritual Secrets to Mastering Money, Manifestation, and Your Mind. After becoming a multimillionaire through real estate investing, I was moved by God at the beginning of the pandemic to share my money mindset that allowed me to quit my job in January of 2009 at the bottom of the last recession and achieve full financial freedom. I own my mental real estate before I own any physical real estate. This book is like some of your favorites: Rich Dad, Poor Dad, As a Man Thinketh, Think and Grow Rich, and the Bible all in one. But the divine downloads and thoughts that are in here are 100% original and came for a 6-month period at the beginning of the pandemic. This book is normally $100 on Amazon if you went there right now, but I want to give you access to it for free by inviting you to our next reading group. Yes, the reading group is 100% free. Every weekday for 100 days straight, I'll be reading and discussing the 10 money commandments in the book that make money come to you in your life easily, more frequently, and abundantly. And it will take about 30 to 45 minutes as we read 3 to 5 pages per day until we finish the book and reprogram your mind around money. Why 100 days? Well, if you are 30 years old, you've lived for 10,950 days. And we have to deprogram and reprogram the negative, scarcity-based money mindset society has taught you. And I believe I can do that in just 1% of the time in about 100 days. I'm done with shelf help. You know, when you buy a book to change your life, but you never read it, it just sits on your bookshelf and collects a whole bunch of dust. We off that. When is the last time you had an author actually read their book to you out loud because they cared about you getting the information in your soul? I'm not just here to get this book in your hands. More importantly, I want to get it in your head and your heart, because that's where the real transformation occurs, in the conscious and the subconscious mind. As scripture says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. This is not the type of book that you just read once. To renew the subconscious mind requires repetition over and over and over. So if you joined us last time, I encourage you to join us again. I myself have read this book over 10 times already. So click the link to join our next reading group, and when you sign up, I'm going to give you the first 2 chapters of the book for absolutely free on what is money and abundance is your birthright, so that you can start your journey to a more abundant life today.
Yo, what's good? We back. Day number 11. We're back. Are you ready? Day number 11. We're going to finish up the last section of Money Commandment number 2. Today we will be discussing how to reprogram your mind around money. If you're new, if you haven't got a copy of the book, make sure you click the link below in the comment section to go ahead and order your book. This book is going to go beyond this 100-day challenge. So definitely go ahead and tap in and get the book. When you buy one, you get 4 additional free, so you can pass out to family members and friends. Remember, there are 10 money commandments or commandments that help us attract money, not repel money. And we're finishing up commandment number 2 today: how the rich think about money. Make sure once we're finished, you tap in with what are your takeaways from the reading. If you didn't have any takeaways, that means you were not listening, you was not tuned in, and you need to go back and listen again, because there are always takeaways. If you're not getting any takeaways, then you're not listening. And if you're not listening, then you're not reprogramming your mind to attract more money. With that being said, let's get started. Day 11.
How to reprogram your mind for more money. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. In addition to knowing what money is, we must understand what money is not. When Jesus washed the feet of his disciples, it was an allegory for washing their understanding. Beliefs are the building blocks of life, and if our financial foundation is broken, we will be broke and sink into debt. Most of what you've been taught about money is wrong if you want to obtain wealth. When children are young, you might tell them don't play with fire because they aren't mature enough to handle it yet. But at some point, you will tell them to use fire so that they can cook for themselves. You may also tell the child to never talk to strangers. but you tell them to network with strangers as an adult. When I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. You're reading this book because you are ready to mature financially. There are so many money myths that may have been accurate at lower levels of money maturity, but become false as you elevate in your wealth consciousness. We think there is something wrong with money, but the truth is that is a speck in our eye causing us to see money the wrong way. John 8:32 says, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Not only are many of the things you have been taught about money and success wrong, but many of them are the exact opposite of what is true. We can't pour new ideas of wealth consciousness or abundance into a mind ridden with poverty consciousness or scarcity. Therefore, we must reprogram our mind for wealth and abundance first, and I'm going to walk you through the 4-step process to reprogram your mind for more money. 1. The first step is to recognize that you've been programmed. We all go through the process of programming. It is inevitable, and we are defenseless as children simply due to biology. Our minds are like sponges, and by osmosis, our mind openly accepts the thoughts and ideas around us. The heaviest programming is between ages 0 to 7, but it continues to the age of 18 as long as you are under your parents' roof, thinking, and personal religions. Programming also comes from every direction, from childcare to cartoons, to class, to chores, to celebrities, to coaches, to cops, to church, to colleges, to companies, to city officials, to community leaders, to creditors. All these C's make up culture. And like cells, we also grow in cultures and are shaped by that culture until we realize that we have the power to shape the culture. This is the deeper meaning behind "I do this for the culture" or to move the culture forward. Many adults have never thought an original thought, a thought that was authentically generated from within and wasn't externally influenced or imported from the culture they grew up in. Sadly, some people live out a predictable program installed in them before they could discern and decide for themselves. And now that program has become their reality and worldview in which they will defend tirelessly as the right and only way to live, love, work, worship, eat, or educate. Thoughts turn into things. So if you don't have the things you want, it starts with you examining and changing not only your thoughts, but the way you think and produce thought entirely. This is the reason they are called TV programs or radio programs, and we are invited to tune into their frequencies. These programs enter your eyes and ears and affect your overall energy, which is your frequency. These influences are not necessarily bad, but we just need to be aware of them because even good influences can block us from authentic thought. Authentic thought creates an authentic life when how you live aligns with who you truly are. Below are some common programs around money and success that get installed in us early on in life, juxtaposed against potentially new programs I've programmed in my mind for you to reconsider. Cash is king versus cash is pawn, assets are queens, and cash flow is king. The hardest worker wins versus the hardest worker doesn't always win, but the winner does work hard. He who hardly worked wins. The highest paid person wins versus the person who needs the least wins. Money is the root of all evil versus the love for and lack of money is the root of all evil. Salary is security versus a salary is slavery. Your salary is income versus your salary is revenues. More money, more problems versus more problems, more money. You need a fortune to be free versus your passive income must surpass your monthly expenses to be free. Pick yourself up by your own bootstraps versus every success story involves other people. Student debt is good debt versus student debt is one of the worst forms of debt because you can't file bankruptcy. Diversify your investments versus diversification leads you to average results. Save money by doing it yourself versus DIY saves money but costs you time, which is more valuable than money. Time is money versus everything costs time. A single family home is an asset versus a single family home is an expense. A single family home is an asset versus a single family home is an expense even after you've paid off the mortgage. Save your money in banks versus you don't give your pearls to swine. You can't save your way to wealth.
All right, real quick. This section here is just about, if you don't have the book, old mindset programs versus potential new mindset programs. We all grew up on our parents learning things a certain way. Then as we got older, we learned new things. Some of the things that our parents taught us, we kept, and we keep them to this day and pass them along to our kids. So they're just the way that we were programmed And we tend to carry those programs on to the next generation. So this section here is just explaining some of the programs that you've been programmed with and how things have evolved and those thought processes are outdated. So he's coming up with new potential programs that you can program your mind for around these concepts. Like the old program of cash is king. I grew up with that saying. Instead, he's saying cash is a pawn, assets are queens, cash flow is king. So instead of just having cash as king, because back in the days, everybody wanted to have cash up under their mattress in a Crown Royal bag for emergencies versus putting it in the bank. You just wanted to make sure you had the cash. But now he's letting you know to come with a new mindset, a new program. Cash is not king, cash flow is king. So like I said, this section here is just all about old programming versus new mental programming.
Employment is entrepreneurship versus self-employment means you've created a job for yourself. Liberal arts education is the key to success versus liberation arts is the key to freedom, and the only degree that matters is your degree of freedom. The order of operations, PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, add, subtract, versus SDAME, which is subtract, divide, add, multiply, exponent. Follow your passions and the money will follow, versus find a problem you are passionate about solving, master the skill needed to solve it, and the money will follow. All debt is bad versus bad debt is debt that you have to pay, and good debt is debt that pays for itself and pays you. These are just a few of the 100, if not thousands of programs that collectively create our operating system, which determines how we make decisions daily. Imagine how differently you would move and how different your life would look if you operated according to my programs in the right-hand column versus the old programs in the left-hand column that we are traditionally taught. Programs get installed by all kinds of people in all kinds of places. I call this collection of beliefs your personal religion, and it is usually a programmed religion handed down by the people closest to us, like parents, teachers, preachers, and our traumatic and transformational experiences until we go through the reprogramming process. Most of them come by observing how people around us live, but they can also be reinforced by aphorisms, sayings, songs, images, holidays, and rituals. Programs aren't inherently good or bad. They are what they are, and they all likely work for someone at some time. That's why the program is still running today. The most important thing is to figure out if this particular program works within your operating system. Is it compatible with who you are and what you genuinely believe, or does it create inner conflict and incongruency? The most challenging programs to see and deprogram are the subconscious ones that are so deeply rooted that you aren't even aware of them. The danger is that you think that the program is actually yours, and you will defend it until you die without even knowing why. Imagine your phone or computer with tons of applications and programs on them, some that you can turn on and off intentionally, and others that are working in the background without your awareness. They are all shaping how you operate. Some are serving you well today, some serve you well in the past but aren't anymore, and others are not serving you and actually are slowing you down. In this next phase called deprogramming, you get to examine each of your programs and how you've been wired, which will position you to eventually reprogram your mind based on who you truly are, not who you were born unto or what happened to you in the past. 2. Deprogram. Mark 2:22 says, "And no one pours new wine into old wineskins, otherwise the wine will burst the skins, and both the wine and the wineskins will be ruined. No, they pour new wine into new wineskins." As we become conscious of our programming, beliefs, and thoughts and observe them, we can step back and inquire about their origin. Who or where did that idea come from? Why did they tell me that at that time? Does it still hold true today? Why do I react like that when this happens? It's all programming until you learn to intentionally create and choose your own thoughts from the sea of thoughts you're swimming in called life. Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of Eat, Pray, Love, said, "You need to learn how to select your thoughts just the same way you select your clothes every day. This is a power you can cultivate. If you want to control things in your life so bad, work on the mind. That's the only thing you should be trying to control. You have many thoughts. Most of them are not yours. You think you're thinking, but you're only regurgitating what you were taught to think. In school, you were graded according to how close your thoughts were to the teacher's thoughts, not for how well you thought independently. According to some estimates, there are over 4,000 religions in the world. I beg to differ. I believe that there are 7 billion plus religions in the world, one for each person called their personal religion. While people may share ideologies and group themselves, we all have a unique collection of beliefs about how God, the world, the universe, life, love, money, and success work and should be. Our personal religions go beyond our relationship to some higher power, but religion is usually the root of many of our beliefs because most religions touch on every aspect of life just mentioned. Whatever belief system you were born into or bought into isn't the issue in terms of your freedom. It's an incongruence between what you believe and who you are that we need to explore. Anytime how we live and experience life isn't aligned with what we believe, we feel dissonance. At that moment, one of two things is true. What you believe is wrong and not aligned with universal laws, or what you believe is right, but how you're being isn't in alignment with that belief. The Latin root of the word religion is religiare, which is to bind or bond. Belief is the universal bonding agent. Your belief system can bind and imprison you, or it can liberate and free you. Any belief that is incongruent with who you truly are, your true nature, will feel limiting. As a little God, you have no limits like your mother, father God who art in heaven. Life has universal laws similar to gravity, and anytime we live in opposition to those laws, life doesn't feel as free. We experience resistance, but the resistance is not coming from the outside, it is coming from within. It is us resisting living in alignment with our true individual nature and nature itself. It's not your fault or your parents, teachers, preachers, friends, significant others, or society's fault. Everyone is well-meaning and doing their best given their degree of understanding. They thought that they were sharing what was best for you. And while they may love you dearly, in most cases, people who love you operate from a place of safety and security rather than free and unconditional love. Taking advice about freedom or finances from someone who is not free or financially well off is not a smart thing to do regardless of how much they love you. Learn from others as long as you feel they are elevating your thought and thought processes. Be aware that whenever your life deviates from what those who love you taught you or what they think is best for you, resistance may arise in them and then get spoken aloud to you. This is part of the program. Programs typically seek to perpetuate themselves. This deviation could lead to arguments, rifts, distance, and silence. But beyond that thick layer of fear is an even thicker layer of love. At the end of the day, people like our parents simply want what is best for us. They want us to be happy. But the catch is that they only know one way to go, which is the one they took. Even though the paths are infinite, theirs is the right route and the one they will want you to take too. We want our children to be better than us, but at the very same time, we train them to think exactly like us and scold them when their way of being, doing, or having deviates from the family or what is familiar. Proverbs 22:6 says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." But what it does not account for is that the old thinking, the old wineskin of the older generation may not hold in today's world. In the time some of these scriptures were written, the world was evolving a lot slower. Instead of creating descendants, meaning going downward, we want to create ascendants, meaning that each generation is better than the next. You will often see several generations stuck in the same place and patterns because the same programming and thinking was handed down from one generation to the next like a recipe book. Collectively, history only repeats itself because our thinking hasn't evolved. As children, we are naturally people pleasers. We may be a daddy's girl or a mama's boy. Initially, we all desire to fit into a tribe and to be accepted, so we do things that make others happy. But as adults, we must let go of people pleasing. You can't make someone else happy. The best you can do is be happy yourself and hope that seeing and experiencing your joy activates the happiness within them. People pleasing prevents you from being free. It is a futile effort because it is impossible to please everyone. Even if you manage to please everyone, you will likely be the one who isn't pleased because everyone's vision for you is different, and you can't keep enough mask in your bag to switch on and off based on who is around. What if, instead, you were just you, and your life was a unique expression of your beliefs? And as a result of you being you, you attracted people who accepted you for who you truly are and are becoming, rather than holding you to who you were and who they want you to be. What if you were surrounded by a group of people who had no agenda and only wanted what you wanted for yourself? How would you feel? Who would you be? What would you do? Doing what is best for you is not selfish. It is self-leadership. What is selfish is someone else wanting you to be, do, or have something to please them. Screw that. Let them figure out how to please themselves. That is not your responsibility. Your joy is your job, and their joy is their job. Hopefully, the Money and Manifestation Mastermind group you are reading this book with has created a space that allows you to be you and is accelerating your reprogramming process. That was the purpose and intent. Sometimes the people who are close to you can't see how far you will go. While most people try to fill their minds with what they think is right, an essential step towards mental freedom is emptying your mind. This is the phase of deprogramming. Bruce Lee once said, "In order to taste my cup of water, you must first empty your cup." Emptying your mind takes you back to your original state at birth of pure mind, except now, as an adult, your mind isn't unguarded like it was before the age of 7, because the conscious mind, the gatekeeper, the watcher, has matured. You get to declare what goes in and what comes out. This is the process of you becoming more you again, like it was in the beginning when all there was you. Some call this being born again. It's one thing to try to get good grades to please your parents, but it is another thing to choose mastery because you value lifelong learning. It's one thing to accept your parents' religion because that's what you were born into and therefore all you know, but it's another thing to step back and choose it for yourself. From an empty mind, you are now in position to make up your mind literally. This is what some philosophers call tabula rasa. It's a theory that at birth, the mind is a blank slate without rules for processing data, and that data is added and rules for processing are formed solely by one's sensory experiences. I believe that "I don't know" are the 3 most powerful words in the world. When you can set your current thinking aside and stay curious, you open yourself to discover new things about yourself and the world. For many people, their mind stops evolving when they become an adult and think they know everything. If you know everything, why don't you have everything you want? Despite vowing never to be like their parents, many people find themselves becoming more like them every day. Pleasing your parents is one of the hardest apps running in your mental background to turn off. The gravitational pull of the comfort zone, the desire to please others and to fit in, sucks many back in. The best solution is surrounding yourself with people who accept you as you are and only want for you what you want for yourself. Deprogramming feels like it's going backwards, but you must subtract before you add. The sculpture is in the rock. We must chisel away the unnecessary to see what's really there. The principle of subtracting before adding occurs mentally, physically, and financially whenever you are preparing to make a change. They say that great minds think alike. That's not true. Great minds don't think alike. They think authentically. And you have a great mind within you, but you have to get all of the cooks out of the kitchen and chew on the food for thought yourself to create what you want to create and determine what you like and don't like. Deprogramming means exploring your beliefs about God, money, freedom, family, relationships, health, love, politics, work, sex, and success with the hope to uncover the beliefs that bind you and find alternative truths that free you. For many people, the deprogramming process begins when they finally leave home and escape the watch of their primary influences. Being away from family and the familiar exposes them to new ideas which either challenge or confirm their old ones. This experience opens up an individual's worldview and causes the mind to start thinking for itself as a way of defending or redefining itself. They say don't drink and drive, but we are all driving under the influence when it comes to thinking and living. Your life is your vehicle to design, drive, and maintain. It's time for you to get in the driver's seat and direct it where you want it to go. 3. Reprogram. Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." Those who break free from the parental pull go into a phase of reprogramming. Whereas in deprogramming, there was a lot of uprooting of old beliefs, reprogramming is about planting new beliefs that align with who the individual feels they truly are and how the world truly works. A person in this phase takes their learning beyond formal education and draws from various sources until they consciously decide on and create their own unique mental model of life, which is their personal religion or belief system. As the scripture says, this is a process of experimentation where you test and approve what is right for you according to the fruits the thought seeds you plant bear. Reprogramming can happen in the twinkling of an eye through a transformational or traumatic experience, or it can take decades of intentional personal development. Regardless, you have to start. The process usually involves expanding what you know and then going through another process of elimination and experimentation. Life is always leading you to righteousness through pain or pleasure. It is one big feedback loop to get you back to your true self. For instance, I devoured financial literacy books that approach financial freedom from all angles. There are all kinds of approaches. Save your way to wealth, invest your way to wealth, brown nose your way to wealth, backstab your way to wealth, Shopify your way to wealth, marry your way to wealth, teach your way to wealth, real estate your way to wealth, drop ship your way to wealth, vision board your way to wealth, entrepreneur your way to wealth. The list goes on. Some of them resonated with me and some didn't. Out of that deep study emerged my framework for financial freedom, which is financial spirituality, or manifest your way to wealth. And finances is just one area of my life. I did and am still doing the same thing for other key areas in my life, such as spirituality, love, parenting, business, and health. It's a challenging but worthwhile ongoing process that can't be rushed. Once this new operating system is installed, you can simply run the program, iterate, and fix bugs along the way. The program that runs the best always aligns with who you truly are and gets you the results you desire with the greatest ease. In the reprogramming phase, you are literally making up your mind from scratch. Your mind is like a house. You have your foundation, load-bearing walls, floors, and roof. If one of your foundational beliefs weakens, it could undermine the integrity of everything built on top of it. Nobody wants to feel like they are starting over, and very few people like the messiness of destroying and rebuilding. But what do kids do with Legos? They build something, then destroy it. And then they build it again and destroy it. They get equal joy out of both processes. They aren't attached to what they build, and each time they build anew, what they build gets better because they have learned from their previous creations. Adults typically want to build and build and build without ever destroying, and herein lies the problem. Notice that children tend to build and then destroy, and we are meant to be ye childlike. Everything in nature goes through cycles, but humans think linearly as if everything goes up and to the right. That's not the trajectory of growth and transformation. Sometimes you have to go backwards to go forward like a bow and arrow. Sometimes you have to spiral your way up like a strand of DNA. Sometimes you have to grow underground for several years before shooting up several feet like bamboo. Sometimes you have to burn down to build up like controlled forest fires. Reprogramming can feel like it's regressive and going backwards, but it's not. Every 7 years, every cell in our bodies has been replaced by a new cell, and we essentially become new people. Though our bodies naturally shed their outer layers, we tend to try to hold on to our inner thinking. Reprogramming is essential to becoming an adult with your personal religion versus just being an adult kid, someone who has an adult body, but whose mind was fully formed by others through childhood programming. It is a rite of passage one must go through to discover themselves. Usually, this involves more subtraction than addition. If you take the suffix of the word discover, this process is literally uncovering who you truly are. You don't need to add anything. You were created perfect, whole, and complete. Instead of trying to add to yourself, start by aligning with yourself. Universal laws existed before you had the language to describe them. Gravity existed before Sir Isaac Newton gave it language and an equation. Every idea and truth about life already exists, and we are merely discovering them and giving them language so that we can be more aware of them and use them to our advantage and for our advancement. This is what is meant by the statement, there is nothing new under the sun. Everything we want is here and now, but we may not be tuned into the right frequency to hear it or see it. As Paul writes in Galatians 4, which all things are an allegory, most religious stories are allegories to help explain these universal laws. But now is your time to develop your own interpretation and understand without a translator, such as a parent, teacher, or preacher. I'm not against traditional religion. I'm simply inviting you to test and approve everything for yourself. I don't even want you to accept anything I've said as truth. I want you to test everything I'm saying for yourself and come to your own conclusion. Do not outsource your beliefs to another individual or institution. That's easier, but it is also passive. They say curiosity killed the cat, but that was another program to get you to not explore and ask questions. Be a curious cat, not a passive sheep with the wool pulled over your eyes. Question out of genuine curiosity, not to create conflict. If someone responds defensively when asking a simple question, they either don't have a true understanding of what they're standing on, or it is not that true. Many people are afraid of new thoughts and ideas and the inner conflict and incongruence they may cause. You can't grow if your thoughts are only bouncing off of each other like a game of mental pong. Emergence happens when two ideas come together to create new ideas. There are many ways to reprogram one's mind to form your own personal religion or belief system about life. The first step is simply exposure to new thinking, whether it is new thinking from within yourself or new thinking from thought leaders. The way to access new thoughts from within includes meditation to quiet your mind and take no thought, prayer, journaling, or mind mapping to observe your mind, retreating to your own garden of Gethsemane, or reading for resonance. The way to access new thoughts outwardly first begins with curiosity, and then they can come through conversations, conferences, classes, coaches, and consultants. Once your formal education is over, your real education begins. There are no required classes in life, only electives. You get to choose your major and minor. You get to decide if you will wing it or seek to master it. My liberation arts education has only cost a fraction of my liberal arts education financially. I think so many people get jaded by their formal education and the ensuing student loans that they stop investing in learning after college. I agree that formal education is overvalued, but don't stunt your own growth by avoiding paying for education. Liberal arts education has indebted millions with billions of dollars. Liberation arts education made millions, billions of dollars. Liberation arts education has a hefty price tag too. It is not financial, but it will cost you your old ways of being, doing, and having. At the end of the day, the only degree that really matters is your degree of freedom. 4. Run the program. How do you know if a program is working for you or not? You can tell by its fruits in your life and how your life tastes. Matthew 7:16-20 says, "Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore, by their fruits ye shall know them." Are you enjoying how your life tastes right now or not? Is it juicy or dry? Do you feel good about each area of your life? Do you feel aligned and at peace within? You can ask yourself these questions in the areas of your personal, professional, financial, spiritual, mental, emotional, love, family, social, physical, and food life. Your answers will reveal if your programming is working for you or not. Below is an example of an individual's life in each of these areas and the programs running in the background of their subconscious mind. Our programming either helps us or hurts us, serves us from our divine inheritance. Consider the programs you run in each area of your life and ask, how do they feel? Does eating based on the food pyramid make you feel good? Does it add energy to your life or take it away? Does saving money feel good? Or do you know that you can't save your way to wealth and that money is meant to be circulated? Does trading time for money with the goal of retiring at 65 align with your vision for your life? I invite you to create a similar chart outlining the programs you are aware of in each area of your life and score how certain programs feel to you on a scale of 0 to 10. Here are 2 examples of going through the 4-step reprogramming process. Example 1, program, don't play with fire. The D program, I release this program without judgment until I discover what is best for me. The reprogram, fire allows me to cook. Run the program. I love cooking and it feels good to me. Example 2, the program, money is the root of all evil. D program, I release this program without judgment until I discover what is best for me. The reprogram, love of and lack of money is the root of all evil. Run the program. It feels good, you do good. As you test out new beliefs in different areas of your life, treat it like an experiment. Enter the experiment open-minded. All you are looking for is the results. Whether they are positive or negative will be determined by how you feel as you hold on to these new beliefs. Only conduct one experiment in each area of your life at a time so that you can isolate the results and attribute how one tweak here or there led to this or that. You must accept this responsibility as the primary programmer of your own life. If the programs you have aren't manifesting the life that you desire, you must change the program, not the external projections of the program. As the program runs, you must observe your own code and reprogram any bugs or glitches. The matrix is in your mind, not in the world. Start within. Open your rituals workbook and complete the identifying all programs exercise and the reprogramming your mind around money exercise.
This concludes day 11. Day 11 is officially in the books. What are your takeaways? This is one of our longer readings right here, but we needed to go ahead and get through this section here. This section now completes money commandment number 2. We have just completed money commandment number 2. How to reprogram your mind around money. What are your takeaways? Want to make sure you comment below in the comment section. I said a lot of sections, a lot of gems in this area here about reprogramming your mind around money. One thing that resonated with me, you will often see several generations stuck in the same place and patterns because the same programming and thinking has been handed down from generation to the next, like a recipe book. Collectively, history only repeats itself because of our thinking hasn't evolved. It's going to take somebody new to implement new programming to influence the future generation. If y'all keep handing down those same financial beliefs from ancestors that didn't work, now you have that same programming and you're moving it on to your kids. It's time to reprogram that financial thinking. Starts with you. so you can in turn move it to your kids, and then they can in turn move it to their kids. Reprogramming. Great section there. Make sure y'all check that out. If it didn't resonate with you, let's go back and listen to that. Reprogramming your mind around money. Tomorrow, we will be moving into money commandment number 3, how the rich and righteous feel about money. Day 11 is officially in the books. Programming, deprogramming, and reprogramming your mind around money. Programming, deprogramming, and reprogramming your mind around money. Day 11 is officially in the books. Salute.